Okay, so here we've got Brighton Hove Albion and Sheffield United, and we've got Rob Jones, his first game, Premier League, and disallowed goals galore, 2 in the first 20 minutes.
Well, first of all, what surprised me about Rob Jones and what I liked was his presence and authority on the field of play.
Yeah.
It didn't look as though this was his first game on the Premier League. He looked confident, wasn't arrogant, and he was faced with two interventions of VAR, and he's got to listen and he's got to go through a procedure. And I thought he went through that procedure really well.
He did, because the handball, so we come up to the handball up here, he's got no chance of seeing that. This is why VAR was brought in. But all I'm going to say about that handball is that was the correct decision in law, but it's a pig of a law.
I think it's stupid. I mean, this was not an intentional handball, a deliberate handball in law, the right terminology. And I can't understand why someone thought this idea up. Because, you know, in football, we all go and all want goals to be scored, not as referees, but as fans. And we're chalking them off.
Yeah, we are, and too many. And we've got these two here. These are the two offsides. So Brighton's was really quick turnaround. You can see the offside. And then on this one, it took a good couple of minutes, this particular one on here. Now, I saw it and instantly I was like, well, yeah, it's offside. You know, that's an easy one in my eyes. But then we've got 2 minutes of VAR. Why did it take so long? What were they looking at?
I think potentially there must have been some doubt in the VAR's mind about where the ball came from.
Right.
Was it played by the attacker or was it a defender? And I think it has to be around that area. But do you know, Simon, with our limited amount of experience as match officials, and I was probably the world's worst assistant referee, I don't need any lines drawing on that pitch to tell me about these decisions.
Yeah.
And that's the shortfall that normally takes and absorbs the time. They were probably playing around with the equipment.
Yeah, and that could have been quicker. So straightforward, I can see he's offside. Do you know what? The goal's been scored. I'm going to stick my flag up and say, do you know what? That's offside. And he could actually just mic. I only need to know who it come off.
Correct.
That's the communication. I only need to know who played the ball last.
And that's what we expect.
Because as an assistant, and I'll say this to everybody out there, and fans and anybody else who's behind, that's not as easy as it looks. That is. This bit here, the offside, but who played the ball last at speed, that's not the easiest bit.
Absolutely. And you know, we're fortunate because whilst we occasionally criticise match officials, we have got the best assistant referees in the country. They are top.
They're brilliant. But I'm just going to come on here, another huge scourge of the game, diving.
Oh,
this is the dying minutes. This is blatant cheating. His positioning here, Rob Jones, he's got an absolutely brilliant, and that's actually the yellow card. He's got no doubt VAR takes seconds to come back on that one. And I can only give him amazing credit because when you've got a game as a referee, you don't want a surprise. And that could have been one that come back and bit him and ruined his day.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was Rob Jones, I'm not, but I think I would be in Mike Riley's position, as I used to be. I would be saying, you're out next week.
Yeah.
I know it's Christmas period and holiday, and that makes it slightly different because of the advanced appointments. But I would be wanting to get Rob Jones out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Right. So.
Good decision. Good
excellent. Right. This one, Everton and Arsenal. Okay, I've only really got one quick point on this one that I wanted to do and I wanted to highlight. Like, this is Kevin Friend. Okay, this is the same movement on here. So this is exactly the same. The ball's come down and Kevin's got a great angle. So he's coming towards the edge of the area. He's got 2 players and he's got the Everton player. Now the Everton player gets out of this and the ball comes across, and within a second he's got an angle. That's what we talk about, movement.
Absolutely.
Go with the ball.
I mean this is short yardage, right? But his movement is to maintain a viewing angle. Not to be static and lose it, because you can lose it in a fraction.
Because it's on your balls of your feet. I've lost my angle.
Yeah.
I've got to move.
Correct.
Don't expect the players or the ball to... Well, the ball's always moving, but don't expect the players to move. You shift.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Good point.
Okay, Martin Atkinson. This was the Bournemouth Burnley game. Now, I've got a couple of things on this one. And I've obviously said to you, am I wrong? Because On here, right, we've got this. Now, this is Billings, I believe, for Bournemouth.
Yes.
Being held
Yeah.
in the area, so we're not going on to grappling. We've discussed that. He comes round with a full swing. I don't know if you can say it's a full swing and knocks him to the ground. But they just play on. There's no yellow. There's no red.
I know.
There's nothing.
No, I know. I think, Martin's had a good run of form. And I just wonder now whether he's just got a bit of fatiguing in. But he's coming up to 7 games, 7 appointments in 11 games.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's hope he can get enough rest and recovery.
Because look at that one. Right, I couldn't get this one. Now, at first, my thought was here, he's stooping down low. But he's not that low. That foot is 5 foot high.
That's red.
But why is VAR? I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
David Coote, and David Coote's pretty much forward.
Yeah.
He'll come forward and say,
Well, the man in the middle's mentoring him. Is that relationship a good one?
"Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be dropped in that."
I think you've got, give what you see.
Yeah,
And for me, I can't believe that David Coote, VAR, hasn't brought that in.
yeah.
And that lad is not walking.
So fair enough. On this one on here, though, huge positive for me is because the ball's played and there were massive shouts for offside straight away.
Yeah.
This is how good our assistants are, because he's absolutely spot on. I don't know who that one is. I don't know if it's Constantine or Harry at that side. But that's a superb decision to allow that.
I think that we have got assistants and we should allow them to do the job. We should actually coach them in terms of process and procedure. And if they're doing this in Europe, because they're going to go out to Europe and officiate, we should be doing
That's
the same.
so good.
Why should we be different?
That's so good. Right, going on to this one, so it's the Man City Leicester game. If I'm right, Mike Dean's 51, 52?
51, I think.
52,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This ball is broken down here, and that's the very next ball. So the ball is played here straight away. This is Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
He's no slouch. We know that. He keeps leading.
Absolutely.
This is the end of our attack, and Mike's here. He's gone from deep into one half to the edge of the area to make a decision. That's quality, that.
I think Mike Dean's fitness levels are terrific. I mean, there's no doubts that he is a fit cookie, putting the effort in, and he puts it out on the field of play. He's probably one of our strongest referees.
He is at the moment.
Most experienced,
He's
and he's bang on form.
He really is, because that's the penalty incident, and I've saw a few people say it's soft and everything else. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. But his positioning again, he's got a clear view.
But the old body language on that, Simon, it was positive. I'm giving it.
It is, yeah.
He points, he's giving
he pauses. Have you noticed he's got in this game?
Yeah,
Pause,
yeah.
think, I'm going.
Correct.
So,
and he gave it.
Which is really good.
It was terrific referee.
He is. On here, we've got... really on here, I'm conscious of time, because there's a huge debate on this, alright?
Shouldn't be.
First thing, no, it's more of a debate on the law. I just want to mention Lee Mason, because Lee Mason looks like he's lost a little bit of weight.
Yes.
And his sprinting yesterday was phenomenal. He covered so much ground.
Do you know if you put the effort in, you get the reward out? And in fairness, he got the reward. He got the reward of the effort put in.
Because you have been critical of Lee in the past.
I think he should have retired 2 years ago.
But on yesterday's performance,
he was
spot on.
He had a good game. There's no question he had a good game.
Yeah.
And therefore, in that sense, good on him.
Right. On this particular one on here, so this is Aston Villa Southampton. All I wanted to do on this one is, again, we will go on about work rate and hard work. This is Craig Pawson, okay? This is at the end of an attack from the other half. And he's finishing so deep in the box, and it gives so much credibility. And I can't stress this enough to any referee. Just Saturday and Sunday, if you want to walk around the centre circle, you're doing yourself absolutely no favours. Look like you want to give a decision, because on that decision, Craig Pawson was quality, and his work rate was phenomenal. So he come wide and come back in as well. So it's definitely huge improvement.
Well, all I say is that proximity to play is so vital in refereeing, because it helps to sell the decision, and as a consequence, when you're in that proximity of play, any decision you make, right or wrong, has a better selling chance than if you're way back near the halfway line.
Yeah.
So this is an add-on, isn't it? Because we've criticised Craig often, I have, in terms of his lethargic type approach. But on this occasion, and one earlier as well, he put in quite a dynamic sprint.
Yeah,
Now, if he's
it was
adding
good.
that to his game, I'm really pleased.
And if he's adding that to his game, like he did the other day, he's going to absolutely fly.
Yeah, he's a good
Because he is
decision
so
maker,
good,
isn't he?
yeah.
He is one of our best decision makers.
So, just moving on, because I'm conscious of time on this one. First goal at Newcastle. It is in the laws of the game, because he removes his top, so that's a yellow card. He goes in the crowd, and I get why. But can't we celebrate? It's his first goal. Can't we celebrate?
Look, the first thing is he's taken his shirt off, and in certain religions around the world, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So we have to accept that the game is played on the world stage, and if we're offending people in another country with a different religion, we have to react to it. The whole point of the player going towards the spectators, right? This is where the police and security in grounds get very concerned. Surges, right, in certain grounds in the past have led to the death of supporters. That's why that's penalised.
Yeah. So, nicely moving on there. Peter Banks, Norwich and Wolves. The only thing on here I wanted to point out is that ball rolled on the line. And the assistant on this side immediately puts his hand out, so he's communicating with everyone to say that ball's in. They know, no one standing, no one moaning. So whichever assistant that is, I don't know if it's Daniel or Mark, I thought that was really good officiating.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that some purists around the world will absolutely hammer that. Because they'll say, well, they just do.
It's communication to everyone.
Look, I'm for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to argue against something that I admire.
Yeah, which is really, really good. So we've reached the end on that one. So I hope there's lots in there for you to discuss. Feel free to tweet us, just as Sam did, because that was really, really good. And Richard, I know Richard got on me back about that one as well. But what I will say to you is have a huge, huge, huge Merry Christmas. Okay, we will be here after the Boxing Day matches. And then the other thing, all I'm going to do is say to you, there's no place in football for racism. Thank you.
I agree. Merry Christmas.